I was born at 4:30 on a Friday evening, so ready for the weekend, the best time. Hello Mum, nice to meet you. The difference between that reconstruction and the actual birth is that in the actual birth, and I don't know if I should say this or not, a bit embarrassing, I was actually born naked, which isn't perhaps something I should admit to here. What happened was 9 months prior to me being born, my dad ejaculated at my mum's. And then I came out the same hole. And actually between my sister, my dad and me, at some point or another we've all been out that hole.
I can't remember ever seeing Bertie Bassett in the bloody garage.
Well, the intention was to document my whole life because I like living in the past. I don't want things to change. And I liked the bubble that I was brought up in. So when I was filming things and taking pictures, and this whole show that I've made is to save my memories in a tangible, physical way. When I die, all of these shows that I've made will tell my whole story in a non-linear way. And this documentary that I'm about to embark on will go towards that by telling the whole story up until right now and why I think it's easier to get forgiveness than permission. Throughout the documentary there will be statements that will be noted on the screen as we go along, because they're all these lessons that I took in and I took them on board and created the person that I am today. I drove when I was 4 because my uncle let me drive down a car park spiral when I was 4, which is ironic because now I'm actually scared of driving. I drank tea in a bottle. I was given cups of tea in a bottle. I never wet the bed as a kid. I wet the bed once when I was 16 by choice because I woke up on a Saturday morning and I was so knackered that I just decided I'm just going to piss the bed because I couldn't be bothered to get out of the bed. I remember going really fast around the house in a high chair, but I was very considerate of the corners. Even at a young age I never knocked the corners or smashed the paintwork. My favourite thing was also in the doorway. I used to bounce up and down. The pillow I had as a kid is the same pillow I have now. So I've had it for nearly 30 years. And actually, by coincidence, it's a coincidence, it actually has Jake Roberts on it. That is a coincidence, not some perverse conscious choice. Well, I had an orange feeder cup and I lost that in Asda. And actually, it was the Asda that I would work at later on. And I lost it, and I got lost in Asda, so it was pretty traumatic. I replaced it with a blue feeder cup. And I don't think I did quite get over it because I actually had that blue feeder cup till I was 16. Part of it was probably because I could drink while lying down, which still sounds quite good. It was the same Asda that I won a big cuddly toy, which I called Bacon, because he was one of the Monster Munch characters, the bacon flavour. And that comes in relevant later on, because I had a cuddly toy wrestling federation with him. I was a very happy baby, I think, in contrast to later on. The weird thing is that I used to have actual full conversations with my mum when I was between 14 and 16 months old, which is like unheard of. And the health visitor used to visit specifically to just hear me have full-on conversations like Stewie out of Family Guy with my mum. My mum didn't know it was abnormal, but the health visitor used to come to visit to actually see that. I'm not sure if the conversations have actually got more intelligent or less, probably less. Reading my child health record book here, it says stacking bricks, stacked up bricks, said it was boring when I was 1. We had a stair guard, and I remember I worked out the logistics of you had to lift the stair guard, then you could open it, and then I could just get up the stairs. I remember always being analytical of everything. Can I just have a look at the rail that I used to get out of and worked out how to do it? That's the rail, right there. What happened with it?
Huh?
I worked out how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it used to be like that.
Yeah.
And then it used to, as this one is slightly longer than that one at the bottom, it used to slide in, down, and then if you just pulled it, it wouldn't come out. You had to lift it up and pull it out.
But I worked out how to do it.
Worked out how to
Yeah.
do that, yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
That was last week. When I realised I could walk, I pretended I couldn't so I could get extra rides in the pram. I had an injection. They gave me a Malteser, a little chocolate Malteser, and I said to them, at age 1.5, and I said to him, well, how is that physically, logically going to stop the pain? I had a big Bertie Bassett head and I took it into school, and I remember that I wasn't ever silly as a kid, really. I didn't really ever put on a front, really, because all these other kids were stupid, like clearly jealous that I'd had this Bertie Bassett head. One of them said, oh yeah, well, I've got one as big as a house. And I was about 4 or 5 at the time, 5. And I remember thinking, that's ridiculous. Like, I saw through people immediately. I would never put on that type of act. But it makes me laugh to this day. He had one as big as a house. Maybe he did. The dentist told me that my teeth were too straight. Ridiculous. I realised quite early on that the best humour is the humour that you can't plan. Real life. People's reactions, things like that. I always remember one of my friends had 2 dogs that escaped from his bathroom window and actually tracked him down to school in the playground. So we're having recess, or whatever people call it in other parts of the world, break time in the playground, and these 2 dogs come in through the gates. And so it's time to go back into the classroom, and we were on the top level of the floor. So all of us kids like coaxed the dogs into getting, like, we got them in the building, and that was 1 step down, and then we got them into the hallway, and that was brilliant. Then we tried to get them up the stairs, and this is when we were about 10, I think, and finally got them into the classroom. It was really wild because they both just flew into the classroom, and the teacher was just like minding her own business on the desk and just jumped on the desk and all the papers flying everywhere. And there were loads of other incidents like that that made me think that you can't write this. What you can't write is the funniest stuff. My sister fell in the pond, and we were oblivious to this, but my neighbour saw it from outside her window, outside her top window. So I was just playing in the garden, my dad was doing gardening, my mum was hanging the washing out or whatever, and my sister had just fallen in the pond when she was 3, just with the water level up to here, with her head just stuck out of it, and we were completely oblivious to this happening. So to that lady, to our neighbour that looked out the window, she just saw my sister with her head just in the pond, as if we were all okay with it, like we put her there. That's madness. My dad changed nappies for the first time, and my sister sprayed a fountain of diarrhoea all over his hands. He said, bloody hell, Kath. That was funny. She fell down the stairs, did 3 backwards roly-polies down the stairs. Really savage on my sister, there loads of stuff happening there. I was banned from washing up. The first time I was interested to close the car door on my own, suddenly we were going 60 miles an hour down the motorway, and I said, Dad, there's a problem, and he turned around to find me hanging off the door with the door flung open because I hadn't shut it properly, on the motorway 60 miles an hour, me just holding onto the door with the car going down. Because I wasn't trusted with things, and my family were very protective, not in a bad way, but I kind of had a bubble created around me in a way, and I didn't want to go anywhere else other than being at home. And it was just because they were so protective, but I would say that I was sort of brought up in a bubble, really. I had this practical joke where you put joke sugar into a cup of tea, and then the tea froths and explodes. It's like frothy sugar, but I put too much in and it literally exploded, and my chest was completely burnt, but my mum just grabbed me and threw me face down in a cold bath of water. And that was the same holiday where I had one of those unspillable cups where the liquid is in the cup, and so it's you can turn it upside down, it doesn't come out, it's like an illusion, right? And my everlasting memory of me enjoying that cup was that on the afternoon I got it, about 10 minutes had passed, and my dad came back to our holiday house and said, bloody hell, Edward, and I'd managed to spill it. It was smashed all over the floor. My dad encouraged me to do practical jokes because we had this bit of foam that looked like a neck brace, and so he said, oh, if you put that neck brace on and go out to my nan's, they'll think you had a broken neck. I forget what the punchline was. The first really big crowd, I think, was that my dad and I drew a big clown, because I was obsessed with clowns. Drew a big clown on a beach, which would have been something like 50 foot by 50 foot, and all the holiday makers on the top of a wall could overlook the beach, and it was a big crowd, and I kind of liked creating something and then getting applause for it. I was a bullied boy, actually. There was a kid there that like they say if you fight back to bullies that they stop, but that's, I hope kids aren't watching this. But I find that not to be true, because I did fight back and he just carried on, worse. And he was one of those ones that did it to everyone, he needed to be sorted out. But my dad, obviously being a protective dad, came down and without going into detail, like one thing led to another and the police were called and like the entire school was watching. I think that's my first memory of being at the bad centre of attention. Because I was always at the centre of attention, which we'll get onto, but like that was bad publicity. There is such a thing as bad publicity. And it was a big scene. My dad versus the bully. But he didn't bully anyone else either, so from a utilitarian point of view, it was actually good, but you can't condone it, of course. But there's a big deal with that. I had my knob cut off, I was circumcised, and they put me to sleep, of course, and they gave me this gas, and I knew it was gas to put me to sleep. And they just said, oh, I bet you can't breathe this in or something. And they thought I was stupid, but I was stupid, not in the way that they thought, because I knew it was that gas, but I was stupid because I thought I could beat the sleeping gas. I thought that I could inhale it and not go to sleep. Obviously I did. They cut my knob off and I wouldn't wake up, so they played, my parents played on the TV Rod, Jane and Freddie, which they were my favourite act, musical act, absolutely full blast, and I think it woke the whole hospital up, which was ridiculous. And when I came home, they said, oh, what would you like for a meal? And I said, with a serious face, skinless sausages. My sister and I got locked ourselves in the wardrobe for about 3 hours. Well, everyone was always really wild at our house. One of my friends that was very calm came around and just broke loads of breadsticks over his head. And one of my sister's friends went really wild with a hose pipe when they were about 6. And it seemed like all the kids came round to our house for a wild time. And one of them even took one of the big speakers off the wall and just smashed it on the floor. Absolutely outrageous. The girl next door that I used to play with, not in that way, came round and I said, oh, why don't we play a game? We both be blindfolded and we take these apples, because we had an apple tree, and with the blindfold we just lob the apples at each other as hard as we possibly can, and it's okay because we both have blindfolds. So I put the blindfold on, she put her blindfold on, I took my blindfold off and just had a wild time. Which actually, that's like a classic memory for our family, because we all find it funny because we knew her personality, but that actually sounds really savage now. But she found it funny anyway. Well, I had an allergy and my face blew up. I didn't look the same at all, it looked completely ridiculous. And like my mum said, oh, why didn't we take a photo of that? Because it was such a mad thing to see, I looked completely different. And I saw the shame in not documenting things there, I think, and I sort of wanted to document things since. As a joke, my dad knew that I didn't want my hair cut off, all of it off, so when he took me for a haircut he said to the barber, oh, just shave it all off. So I just ripped my thing off and just walked out into the road. And I wouldn't categorise that memory as me not being able to take a joke. It was that I didn't know if he would shave my head off or not, so I wanted to kind of stand up for what I believed in, because you have to live with yourself at the end of the day. That's madness, saying that. So, I don't know how in my notes that came together. Well, the anecdote is that it was a really wild scene because there was just loads of elderly people having their hair done, and my dad walked in and said, shave it all off, and I just ripped the thing off and stormed out to a big scene. Tina, did you laugh at that madness because I said that's madness saying that? Didn't hear me. Okay. So the documentary continues next week, and here are some more bonus scenes from today's filming. Yeah. Could you hold Mum's hand? Because that's what happened when I was born. You just have to stand there and hold my hand.
I never held her hand.
Tommy, are you going to...
What did you do there?
He was reading the paper.
I was having a
Tommy
guess, innit?
quite wants to be in the background. Do you want him little or do you want him to me?
I don't understand.
Okay. Do you want him to...
No, you can stand there.
You can be the doctor.
You have to...
Superman on his top.
Yeah, go right back against the curtain.
This is a talkie, yeah.
If you get... You have to put your legs apart, Mum, actress Bishop. Yeah, and Betty, if you get it from here, please.
You, Ted.
No,
No, you don't have to. Close your legs.
Yeah. Tommy, when I say go, you just shout push, okay? So, Tommy, shout push.
What name?
Yeah.
Push.
Like the doctors do, like push. Hello, Mum, nice to meet you. Okay, that'll do. Thank you. What is the
thing is, I was smiling, but I wouldn't have been smiling when you just come out. I'd be going,
oh, thanks.
The thing is, you know it's mum is your mum, but you don't know what's wrong with your dad, do you? That's why you didn't shake my hand, is it?
No, I just want to do it really quick.
Although, Edward actually doesn't know Mum's his mum.
No, but I do.
Yeah, that's and true. I know.
Yeah, but you know that you are. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's... Hello, that's where the training impression was done behind me. I needed to find the Bertie Bassett head for this show so I could cut it in earlier on, which you saw. And what was quite funny was the conversation that I taped, because the camera had accidentally been turned on in my pocket, of when I tried to locate the Bertie Bassett head with my dad, because I went round to my parents' house and I knew it was either in the garage or the attic, and because they're so full with all of my stuff from when I was a kid, because I mentioned earlier on I don't like change and things like that, so they are unfortunately have to keep it all. The conversation was quite funny because my dad doesn't recall ever seeing Bertie Bassett in the bloody garage. Enjoy. Hello?
I don't know where it is. I mean, you go up in the attic and you have a look, but I'm not moving all that stuff up there because it's just too bloody much. I've got stuff in the garage which I don't know what's in there. I know Mum just said, well, you tidied it the other week. Yes, I did, but I can't remember seeing that in there. I can't remember ever seeing Bertie Bassett in the bloody garage. And I don't know if it's in your room because I can't tell.
Yeah.
So you go up into the attic and you have a look.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know where it is, man. If you're moving it, make sure it goes back. That's all I'm saying.
Well, my friends have got this big as a house. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, that's your mate.
Yeah. You saw his mum today? Right. Such an irrelevant thing to try to fit into the narrative of a show. It's just a standalone anecdote. My mum said to me today, do those mobile phones take AAA batteries? Madness. A generation gap. She also said, oh, thousandth of a second. I've never heard anything so stupid in all my life. Like, as in the actual concept of it, you know. I don't think she meant the scientific concept. I think she meant people measuring in that way. I don't know. Oh look, the moon. Hello, I just wanted to thank Ring of Honor again, Ring of Honor Wrestling, for following me on Twitter. And also there's a former WWE writer called Dave Lagana who worked with them for over half a decade. He created I Want Wrestling, and that profile followed me on Twitter, so thanks to them. Also Jeremiah Riggs from Toughness and Bill Watts, UWA, who actually ran one of my favourite promotions of all time, Mid-South. Retweeted. They both retweeted some of my tweets, and you can follow me too at LaughableCryTV. I am grateful that they did that, that they retweeted and followed me, but quite clearly it's disguised as a thank you. I'm actually just wanting to name drop, make me look like I'm more heavily associated with them than I actually am. Hello everyone, my name's Ed Surname and I'd make a great online reporter for T4. I know I'd enjoy it because I am an experienced presenter. I presented my own spot for New York TV from October to February of this year, so I know I'd be good at it. Now, I can assure you that I will be smartly dressed for the part. That means I won't be wearing these pyjamas. There really is nothing to worry about because I can assure you that everything else in my wardrobe is very sensible. I've done lots of online work and Channel 4 said that I had a unique and extraordinary life, and I'd like to continue that by being a T4 online reporter. Please don't.
Sorry.
Can you get out, please? Can you get out?
No,
Please, can you
look,
get out?
no,
Please, can
look.
you get out? Please, can you get out?
No,
I can't
what
do
am I
it with you
going to
there.
go and do? Just
Go
sit in
and
there.
read
No,
in
let
bed.
me just stay here.
Well, stop pissing about then. This is serious. Why did you yawn? Can you go in there? Don't knock it, it has to be the same thing.
I'm not, I'm just...
Right, okay. So go in there.
It's been abnormal for me expecting me.
Find an activity that's really loud. I don't know why you want to do it. You know that I'm happy when I'm doing this. Yeah, find an activity that's really loud.